to Roblox. Today, 9 for me. For those of you, for some of you living on the other side of the world, it'll be a day today. So, I am checking out this game called Monsters Revenge. You can find it on Roblox. So yeah, this is a brand new monster truck game that I discovered after I completed the Overdriven playthrough. Or should I say, unlocked all the secret trucks. But now we have a brand new game to check out and stuff. And this game right here, I am very pleased with it. So, I'm on Virginia Beach to give you all the best demonstration. And there is some music in here, but I will not play it because I don't want to get copyright. And look at this, everybody. These are all the trucks that are in the game currently. The developer is currently updating this game momentarily as we speak, so yeah, very exciting times here. As let's see here, we got in each row there is 14 trucks. So times that by 10. That is 140 trucks in the game. Every truck has its own unique scheme, sound, and everything. Like for instance, I'm gonna get in the famous Gravedigger. It'll spawn in like normal. As you can see, the game is very detailed. But where the moneymaker is at is the noise. That gives this game a fair advantage over other games, is that the noise is very accurate to some of the other games that are out there. Heck, Overdriven, to be fair, Overdriven does have some good noise, but they're all the same. Except on the DLC trucks, which I will talk about more later. For that, when I get a chance to get them. But yeah, as you can see, Gravedigger, it's got the famous paint job. And notice the flag. It doesn't move like the other games, like Overdriven or Champions Arena. It is actually animated to where it'll move on its own, which that gives this game a big advantage over others. But the truck, though, while it may not drive so great, it definitely looks great. As I mentioned, there are multiple chassis in the game, so, and some even normal CRDs that are in the game sound different. Some do. Now, let's say I'm gonna get in, because most of the trucks will sound the same, but I'm gonna get in Kraken, because this truck has a different sound. Do you hear it? It's slightly quieter than the normal CRD sound. That's because it is on a different chassis, yes, but Notice how different the truck just sounds. It doesn't act different, it just sounds different. That's what I like about this game. Because in Overdriven, even though trucks sound, they may sound the same, they all have different characteristics. All the chassis. Not this game. Now let's move on to the Willman. No, actually, we're going to move on to the CRC with Avenger. Again, another different noise. Take a listen. Much different, as you can hear. It's very aggressive. Reminds you of those old Gen 4 NASCARs. For those of you who love NASCAR, that's what I'm assuming this sound is from. If not, correct me in the comments, please. And then we're going to move on to Brodozer, because this is a different motor, so it'll have a different sound. That's not right. Since it's diesel powered, it'll have a different noise. But it mostly acts the same as the normal CRD. And if y'all are wondering, the top speed test they hit about 110, 120. And that was a gnarly crash and save. That was pretty gnarly. Alright, let's get into Willman now. With the Monster Jam stunt truck. Take a listen. Yep. Flipped it over, but y'all can hear that noise much different. Stop moving. Stop it. Hey, thank you. But yeah, not every truck sounds the same. Like I mentioned. Like for instance the Avenger here. Okay, this is the junkyard design, but notice that it's still set up the same. Move on to this one. Set up the exact same. Now when we come to this one is a little different. So in theory it should have a different sound, right? Nope. Exactly the same. The only difference is the header is down. But to be fair, this game does have some good stuff going for it. Now, of course, there is a few flaws with it. And I'm going to show you that right now. In fact, Zombie, while this is the only CRC truck, for it still carries over the same sound. Anyway, now let's talk about the flaws. The pros and cons. First up, the pros. Trucks look good. Trucks sound good. Very realistic behavior. Mostly. The only other thing that is good about it is the maps. There are a lot more. There's a lot more variety in this game than there is in Overdriven. I mean, sure, you get Professor's Backyard or Virginia Beach in this game. In this game, and Overdriven is a lot older, but has some good things for it. But this game, while it's different from Overdriven, it still has its problems. And I'm going to talk about that right now. So, the first issue I have, handling. I know you're always going to say, Harry, didn't you just say the handling was good? Yes, I did. But, however, when you're racing, it can always change on you. Like, say you're taking this corner, right? You nail it perfectly and get across the line. Nothing bad happened that time, right? Next time, you don't make it all the way around the corner and get caught. That's understeer. It feels very understeered, but when you go in for it this time, you oversteer still and hit the barrier. But I still made it across the line though, so that's a bonus for me. But yeah, not everything on this game is perfect. Same with Overdriven. Overdriven, while it may not have copyright on all trucks, this game, however, does. So that means you won't see, like, say, Graveyard for Gravedigger. In this game, you actually do Gravedigger for Gravedigger. Oh, one other pro I forgot to mention. Sorry. One other pro is that this game, it has more paint schemes than Overdriven does, and more unique trucks. While British, of course, the developer of Overdriven, is trying to make updates. However, this developer actually took the time to give us some additional trucks and tracks. See, there was one of the physics issues right there. Anyway, but this guy took man or female. I don't know the gender. Sorry, I'm not trying to be gender biased, but still. As you can see, the zombie Neon, I think this is Neon? No, this is Nitro. Zombie Nitro. It looks fantastic. Now, unfortunately, however, not all trucks are like this. Some trucks were ported. Like this Blue Thunder, for instance. Sure, you're gonna think, oh wow, this guy actually took the time to get everything. Sorry guys, hate to tell you, but look very closely at the truck. Notice that old Monster Jam logo? That's right, this truck was ported from Monster Jam the game 2007. You know what? Here's another example. Predator. I mean, sure, you'll think it's normal. Oh, unique sound. Or PEI. Okay. But look. Again. Old Monster Jam logo. That means it was ported. Now. There is some good trucks, though, in this game. Some we didn't even get in real life. I'm going to talk about it right now, so... Back to the trucks about the good thing. I'm just gonna finish up with the cons real quick. Actually, the only other con I have with this game is that the trucks, when you drive them, watch when I drive Thunder Roars here. Notice when I turn, did you notice the way that that whole rear end of that truck acted? That did not act right. And what happens is that it makes your truck feel very unbalanced. It'll make you get loose, or in this case, understeer or oversteer, like I mentioned earlier. That does it for the pros and cons, but now we're going to get back onto the good stuff, to the pros of this game, and talk about the trucks. Because there is a lot in here. 140, like I said. Some of them are variants, don't get me wrong, but most of them are actually new trucks. So let's go into it. So, as you can see, the first truck is obviously Gravedigger. In this game, Gravedigger does have some variants. So here they are. So we have the red truck. I'm not gonna lie, it looks good. It looks sick. And of course it has the tailgate line. Now I'm not counting the Legend as a variant because technically it's its own identity, but it does have a variant of it as well. Moving on. Where's the next Gravedigger? Okay, the next Gravedigger actually does not happen till further down to here. We got 4 variants. Let's take a look at them all. So we got the Grandma from 2012, 2017, and 2022. This version of Gravedigger has made numerous appearances. Now, the next truck is Gravedigger 25th Anniversary, but I want you all to ignore the fact that it is accurate. The scheme is, that is. But, however, look at the chassis. That is not the correct chassis. That is Gravedigger, one of the earlier diggers. I believe that is 14, which is a PEI. While it is cool to see Gravedigger 25th like this, but unfortunately it is inaccurate to the real life truck. But God, I love that flag. It's one of my favorite Gravedigger flags. Sucks that I can't get it. Now, moving on to the 30th anniversary variants. We are going to see a chassis change though, because Gravedigger 30th and green and purple have got their chassis changed to Gravedigger 20. Which basically means the first ever Cohen designed chassis. Before Cohen got into more like CRD based stuff. CRD, CRC, you know. Excuse me. Sorry. But in total so far, that is 6 variants of Gravedigger. But we're not done, because as we go down the list, you'll start to see where there's more. Yep, we got more. I am not counting Kingsling as a Gravedigger though. So, sorry. Next up, we got Gravedigger Nitro? I want to say this is Nitro Gravedigger. This scheme that Tyler Menninga drove at this year's last year's Superstar Challenge. He swept all 3 competitions with this scheme, but he still lost due to consistency from the other team. I'm sorry, but this scheme has not lost in competitions, but overall it did lose. Now we keep going through until we get to the other Gravedigger, the opponent, if you will, of Tyler Menninga's scheme. This is Neon Gravedigger, and I'm sorry to say this as a Gravedigger fan, but this is the worst Gravedigger scheme ever. I'm not joking. Like, why paint the truck green? It ruins the entire theme of Gravedigger. It disgraces me as a Gravedigger fan. Ugh. Anyway, but yeah, that's 7 and 8. But we have 4 more variants. Next up, this is Gravedigger 19, which was piloted by Randy Brown. I believe there's a button that allows the truck's sparks? I'm trying to see where that is. Okay, that's not it, obviously. But yes, this is Gravedigger 30th, which technically was piloted by Randy Brown. Gravedigger 19, which also has the 30th anniversary decos. And then we have the 2 special edition designs for the World Finals in 2012. We have got the green design, which competed only in racing. And I'm surprised it did not get destroyed. And then we have the purple design, which got destroyed more than once. What do you mean by that? If y'all are wondering. 2012, Dennis destroyed the body during freestyle. Unfortunately, flipped over a little after the body was destroyed, so that hurts a little bit. Then in 2022, when Gravedigger was celebrating its 40th anniversary encore, which technically stands as the final encore, had Gravedigger 30 at the end of the line, wait until the 40th anniversary Gravedigger to jump over all of them. At the end, though, the 40th Gravedigger, which is Adam's chassis, GD35, got behind the 30th anniversary purple design digger, and then there's that signature meme that everyone knows, so I will not repeat it, but yeah. That happened. And finally, the final Gravedigger. Charlie Hawkins 2015 World Finals design. And unfortunately, it is inaccurate because Charlie's truck during this World Finals had zoomies. But I meant exhaust headers sticking up. That is it for Gravedigger. Next up, like I mentioned, Gravedigger the Legend has a variant. So this is the normal Gravedigger the Legend, which ran in 2015 during its final season, but in 2014 fans got to witness a concept of Gravedigger the Legend when it looked like this. People were not a fan of it and rejected it, so Adam stuck with what he got. Now, believe it or not, Son of a Digger actually received a variant. I think y'all saw it during my Gravedigger portion. But just a reminder, there's what Son of a Digger looks like normally. The classic 1941 Willys look. But now we're going to take a look at the other one. Son of a Digger Neon. This thing looks disgusting. But, however, it is a variant nonetheless. Now, we did see some other trucks during this, so we're going to talk about them real quick. Max D. I'm going to go over him now because, you know, there's multiple variants of him. So, Maximum Destruction, or Max D. But we're going to not start out there. In 2000, Tom Meents drove Goldberg. This truck started the dynasty of Tom Meents' career. But originally, he did not start out in Goldberg either. Remember, he got his driving career started from Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. And I think that truck is in the game. Yes, here it is. Monster Patrol. This truck is what gave Tom Meents his start. Interesting, so it has the Willman chassis, but it has the Taurus engine sticking out, which is cool but weird. Anyway, Tom Meents started driving Monster Patrol in 1994. All the way up until 1999, when Tom Meents moved to the Bulldozer. And during his first show in Bulldozer, he won his race against Dennis Anderson. And that's what prompted WCW star at the time, Bill Goldberg, to get Tom Meents into this machine. From 2000 to 2001, Tom Meents had a streak. He won racing in 2000. Unfortunately, could not follow it up in freestyle as he broke within 2 hits. But in 2001, that all changed. Once again, he won racing, but this time he doubled down in freestyle. And then in 2002, unfortunately, they could not extend the contract to keep Goldberg's name. So, you know what Tom Meents did? In 2002, he took Goldberg, plastered his name on it instead, called it Team Meents. As you can see, 2000... Oh. Well, yeah, there you go. 2000 to 2002, champion. Now, Team Meents was a one-off truck because he wanted to debut a certain name this year. However, due to 9/11, Tom Meents had decided to not proceed with the debut of that name. And he made it back to World Finals in 2002, won racing for the 3rd time in his career, and that night he also won freestyle. And Tom Meents that night became a 5-time world champion. No, not that way. In 2003, Tom Meents would debut Maximum Destruction. This design of Max D. You notice it looks a little different. That's because he just got his 6th world championship in this design. You're probably wondering how he got that 6th world championship. Well, in 2004, 1 year after Tom Meents lost everything in 2003, he did not win freestyle, and he certainly did not win racing. He got beaten by Scott Hartsock in round two and finished pretty much last in freestyle by only doing 1 hit and getting stuck. But in 2004, things would change for the futuristic SUV. In 2004, he did not go very far in racing, but, however, he did snag freestyle in a controversial fashion by winning freestyle in a 3-way tie. Who are the other 2, you ask? Lupe Souza and Alondra Blaze, aka Deborah Marcelli, aka Medusa. Medusa became a world championship and the first woman to do so. In 2005, nothing happened. However, in 2006, things started to look up for Tom Meents. As in round 2 of racing, he got beaten by his greatest rival, Dennis Anderson, in Gravedigger, running GD20 for the first time ever, while running the all-too-famous Green Ghost scheme. Unfortunately, Tom Meents lost in round 2, but had a gnarly save. And then for freestyle, well, Neil Elliott drove another Maximum Destruction, just like this one, into the volcano, and Tom Meents jumped it and won the title. That made him 7-time world champion. Tom Meents, however, would not visit the Victory Circle until World Finals X, which is held at Sam Boyd Stadium in 2009, where unfortunately Tom Meents would not get a fair race, though. Unfortunately, Alex Blackwell in Captain's Curse had a gnarly wreck and caused him to flip into the stands. And Tom Meents, he still won the race and became an 8-time champion, but he didn't win it fairly. Now, fast forward to 2011. Tom Meents unfortunately did not win 2010 because for the first and only time, Tom Meents and Dennis Anderson would face for the World Racing Championship. Dennis Anderson beat Tom Meents straight up, and Dennis claimed his final world championship. But in freestyle, Tom Meents did not get so lucky. Same with 2009 freestyle, where Tom Meents broke, but he did save it. Now in 2011, he would have to face none other than Jimmy Cretin in Bounty Hunter. Unfortunately, Jimmy Cretin lost, which made Tom Meents a 9-time world champion, like on the root here. Now, the next year, Tom Meents went back-to-back racing wins in securing his 10th world championship during 2012, beating Damon Bradshaw in Monster Energy, if I remember right. And Tom Meents' freestyles were lackluster. But now we're going to fast forward to 2013, where Tom Meents would celebrate his 10th anniversary of Maximum Destruction. Now there is 2 designs. Well, technically 3. I'm going to talk about the main one that he drove. So Tom Meents drove Max D 10th anniversary Glow, which was more like his modern day pretty much looked like Maximum Destruction except without spikes. Speaking of spikes, his teammates Craig Christensen and Neil Elliott drove this variation of Max D with spikes. However, it did not look quite like this. That's right, for 2013, Tom Meents drove the spiked Max D like this, chromed out like this, and actually won a world championship during an anniversary, which never happened before. Because no one had ever won a world championship on their anniversary season. Tom Meents did so and solidified himself as the 2013 World Freestyle Championship winner and became Mr. 11-time World Champion. Now, fast forward to 2014. And the roof is actually correct. Sweet. So during 2014, Tom Meents would redesign Max D a little bit. He would also now be running the spike variation, along with Craig Christensen and Neil Elliott. Or would they? While Neil would stay, Craig would retire from Max D. In place was rookie Morgan Kane in the stadiums. Now, Tom Meents made it into the finals against defending 2013 World Racing Champion Adam Anderson, Gravedigger the Legend. Unfortunately, Tom Meents would decide it would be time to freestyle. Cost him maximum destruction. Burn! Yeah, you all know the rest. Adam Anderson defeated Tom Meents. Freestyle was not so lucky for Tom Meents either. 2015, though, it was better, but not good enough to win a world championship. 2016, not much better. 20. You know what? Speaking of 2014 and 15, 2015 actually, in 2015, there actually was another design for Max D. And it is wrong because it's supposed to be on the CRD. This was Morgan Kane's design that Morgan Kane ran at World Finals 16 in 2015. It was an homage to the OG Maximum Destruction. However, it was all golded out and had the modern day Maximum Destruction logo. That was all that was different. (2016). This was a big year for the Maximum Destruction crew, as there were now more than one Max D everywhere. There was 4. In 2016, Tom Meents drove his standard Max D like normal. However, there were 3 new designs debuted for Max D. Oh, hang on. Well, there's the... I think that's the glow version. Not quite. But this is a version of 2013 Max D without spikes. Except... Oh, that's sick. The eyes actually glow. Oh, I didn't... That makes it menacing. Okay. Back to what I was saying. In 2016, there were some special designed Max Ds joining Tom Meents. While Tom Meents drove the normal Max D, there were 3 new designs joining the team. Max D Candy Apple Red debuted technically in 2015 by Neil Elliott at World Finals. It made a return in 2016. And Neil did really good in both shows. Next up was the all too famous Yellow Max D, driven by Jared Eichelberger. Does that name sound familiar to you? If not, then here's the deal. Tom Meents has two sons, Colton and Jared Eichelberger. Well, technically they're sons-in-laws. But here's the bottom line. Jared got added to the 2016 roster for one of the Arena Series. That's how Jared got to drive this Max D. Where was the gold one, you ask? Well, it got upgraded for World Finals 17, 2016. This Max D looks much better than the other one. As I said, it was piloted by Colton Eichelberger. Colton drove Max D, except it was not this one. It was a normal paint scheme put on a CRD. All the way up until Colton's technical retirement in 2021. But he did come back this year, which I'll explain later. Now, I forgot to mention this. In 2006, Hot Wheels decided to try and change up Max D with a more appropriate corporate design. This is what they come up with. Y'all really don't see a difference? Well, there is some differences here. So what they did was paint it red instead of the traditional gray, make Maximus, the mascot, more red and evil looking, and turn all those logos to lava. That's how I like to call it Magma Maximum Destruction was born. And I won't lie, I really wish Tom Meents would bring this scheme back. Bring this scheme out at least once to compete. Because this is a swan song season. Swan song season. What do I mean by that? The final season. Anyway, back to what I was saying about Tom Meents. So 2017, Tom Meents got injured. And he is not going to make it to World Finals. So, Colton Eichelberger steps in. Of course, Neil Elliott still makes it. But they're running normal Max Ds, but they have name flags. Yes, that was a thing. Now, in 2018, there was an interesting encore to celebrate Max D's 15th anniversary. So here's the deal. So what they did was make some new Max Ds, a couple new Max Ds, but brought some old ones back. Including the gold one that ran in 2016, the red one, the normal one on a CRD, just to name a couple. In total, there were 5 Max Ds in the Encore. What's that? Where are the other 2 Max Ds? I'm glad you asked. So, in 2018, Chuck Warner was having his final season in Monster Jam. And since he was part of Team Meents at that time, he got the pleasure of driving, that's right, Maximum Destruction, but on BKTs this time. And that turned out well. Oh! Yeah, Candy Apple Red Max D was on the woman. Now, there was a new Max D design debuted at 2018. The Blackout Max D. Here it is in all of its glory. This thing, in my opinion, looks sick. The good way. Like, it pops. The colors, the whole thing, it just looks fantastic. Not to mention this was also Hot Wheels' final swan song season as well, as Hot Wheels would lose their right to make toys. Luckily in 2019, Spin Master came to save the day. Speaking of 2019, that's where our next objective is. I don't think they have it in the game. I'll see if they have it. If they don't, I'll just use... I don't see it, so... I'm just gonna go back to using this one. In 2019, Tom Ince had became a captain for a team. More on that a little later. And Tom Ince, to celebrate that, he got a brand new Max D design. And before you say no, this is not the design. Unfortunately, this game does not have the correct design, but in 2019, Max D got its fire paint scheme. And before you say yes, it kind of does look like the Magma Max D, but unfortunately, it does not quite have all of its graphics. The old graphics like this one does. Anyway, in 2019, Max D Fire debuted. What did Tom Ince do with it? He actually won another championship. Slow claps are in motion, I bet, so... That's right, Tom Ince actually won another championship. Doing what, you may ask? Definitely not freestyle, not racing. The brand new Two-Wheel Skills Championship. And he actually won very easily. And he now became a 12-time world champion. That was cool. Now in 2020, since the season was cut short, you know, things were a little bit different. I mean, Max D Fire was still campaigned. And in 2021, Max D Fire was still campaigned as well. But not fully. Till the end. Anyway, remember that challenge I was telling you about? That thing about 2019? Where he's part of a team? Yeah, it was the first ever All-Star Challenge. He was selected as a captain for Team Fire. Unfortunately, he did not win, but overall, he did really well. Now in 2021, the Fire Max D ran almost all the way up until the third quarter of 2021, where the regular Max D would return. And it would stay like that through 2022. Now in 2022, Tom Ince, well, let's be honest, he was starting to decline a little bit during 2021 and 2022, in the early portion. However, when he got to World Finals, he turned up the wick quick. Because he has not won a World Championship since 2019. That is 3 years. Now racing, unfortunately, he did get the fastest qualifier spot, but unfortunately, he could not hold up in racing. Now, two-wheel skills was supposed to be later that night, but because of how heavy the rain was when Brandon Vincent won his first World Championship, first and only as of right now, it was impossible to run it, so they had to run it the next day. The next day started with the high jump competition. Tom Meents was involved. He did not win it, but he suffered a broken truck. And he did make it back in time for the Great Clip Skills Challenge. And he was the defending champion of that. And you know what? He actually won the championship again in 2022. So, mad props to Tom Meents, becoming a 13-time champ. Then it was freestyle. Tom Meents was one of the last trucks to come out. He had to beat Charlie Pauken. Somehow, the fans thought he did. And he became a 14-time world champion and finally stopped his streak and he has not won a World Freestyle Championship since 2013. That is 9 years in the making for Tom Meents to win the championship. But also that marks Tom Meents for the first time getting a double down since 2002. 20 years of competing in the World Finals. Well, 19. Sorry. I forgot about 2017 for a second. Now, during 2023, Tom Meents was celebrating his 20th anniversary. To celebrate that, the team cooked up a special design Max D, which honestly still looks very awesome to this very day. He brought back the older style SUV, but he still wanted to prove his dominance. Oh boy, he tried. But at World Finals in Nashville, things did not go his way. Racing, he got knocked out early. High jump, he didn't even qualify for. Somehow. Now, the Great Clip Skills Challenge, Tom Meents was the 2-time defending champion of that. Unfortunately, this time around, he would not be able to defend it. He finished in 4th, I believe. I'll have to fact check that. But in freestyle, he did not go so lucky either. And pretty much he sucked. Now, this is Tom Meents' final season. And but before we get to that, this design was unveiled at Nashville. And pretty much fans were thinking, was this Tom Meents' actual World Finals design? Unfortunately, it wasn't. Because he still rocked the modern 20th anniversary on this side. Now, through 2004 and 6, I covered this side because that way, you didn't bother to look over on the other side. In 2024, Thomas announced that this was his final season. During the first week of the season, he brought out this design and actually debuted it. He actually won freestyle. The next week in Houston, he brought out Maximum Destruction. He won freestyle with it. And the overall. Thomas is on a clinic so far. Unfortunately, there was a repetition of the first design that debuted in St. Louis. But, however, Tom Meents did something in Lucas Oil Stadium that pretty much may have ended his career. At Lucas Oil Stadium, he debuted the Blackout design for competition. It was freestyle time during show 2. And Tom Meents went for a ramp and he cased the truck so hard that it pushed him forward up in the air and landed him flat on the roof, injuring himself and putting him out of commission up until this point. But we did see a return of Colton Eichelberger though. He brought out the Red Max D for his debut back, and he kept driving until he disappeared again. Blake Granger, the other Max D driver that joined in 2018 to replace Colton Eichelberger, Jared Eichelberger, no. He drove Max D in the States for a little while, but he had to go international. Now, coming into this weekend, Cody Societe will fill in for Colton Eichelberger / Blake Granger / Tom Meents. Oh boy. This will not be going very well. But before Tom Meents had his send-off, he did debut one more design before his injury. At the Superstar Challenge in Anaheim, Tom Meents debuted Nitro Max D. This is his normal Max D design. I just noticed this thing doesn't have spikes. And once again, because of Tyler Menninga dominating all the competitions, Tom Meents' team still didn't have enough to win. So for the second time, he lost the Superstar Challenge. And well, that's it for the history lesson on Max D, pretty much. Oh man, someone actually joined in Gravedigger. Anyway, as I mentioned, but yeah, like I said, there's a lot of trucks here. Velociraptor has the blue variant. Bad Company has 4 variants. Is 2 World Finals designs in the game. But yeah, that'll do it for this game. Best on grading the 25th. And that is all for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.